All right, Coach. Firstly, thank you so much for sitting down and having this discussion. It's a new season, of course, new objectives based on what you've seen so far. How would you sum things up? Are you happy?
Well, I'm happy with the understatement. We are just now 3 weeks in preparation. After the CFU tournament, I think it would be a good gauge to see where we are in the competition. And it's a competition that they want to do well in. The perks it comes, it gets you in the Caribbean Cup Championship, which we are the defending champion, and we want to go back there to defend our title. So it's a lot at stake.
Yeah. You mentioned the importance of the CFU Shield. It's the first time that we'll be playing in the CFU Shield. You mentioned defending the Caribbean Cup title. How important is it to get that message across to the players to see this competition as something very serious?
Very important. They know the task at hand. They know the objective. So I don't think it's hard to motivate them for this tournament. It's just to go there and the execution.
Yeah.
Will definitely be important.
Yeah. Anything that you've learned from the Caribbean Cup last year that you can take into the CFU Shield?
Would have learned a lot, both on and off the pitch. It's a different competition from the Premier League. So again, would have time.
Oh.
The time difference when you play the games. Now, the CFU is back to back. Yeah. So you play on a Monday, you play on a Wednesday, you play on a Friday. So that is something that would have to take into consideration. But we have an experienced technical staff, so we've been training and we've been doing things that way to accommodate us when we get there in Trinidad.
That's when we played in the CONCACAF Champions Cup against LA Galaxy, and you stated that LA Galaxy showed where we ought to be. We'll get to a couple of the maybe newer inclusions in the squad. But from where you sit, what do we need to do to get to that level?
Well, it's a whole different level. It's a whole different ball game. I think the mindset of the players, we have to change. We have to move from here to there.
Okay.
But how we get there is a progress. And again, most of the players would have a taste of it. They want to be a part of it, So again, it's not difficult, It's something that we can achieve, We just have to work together as a team, as a staff. Because again, remember the game is not just 90 minutes.
But
Is what we do off the field. So on the pitch, it just comes as a free flow.
In pre-season, we've seen a lot of hard challenges. We've seen the focus. We've seen the determination from the players from the outside looking in. As a coach and a former player who has played at the highest level you played in a World Cup, how important is it to keep the intensity in training and to keep that kind of drive?
Very important. This is what you want from any team, Player want to play. The intensity of the training, because at the end of the day, you only can select a 11, and every player want to be a part of that 11. So the intensity and each player keep pushing
Yeah.
the other. And this is what you don't want, as a coach, you don't want a team that, okay, we can sit and know that this is the coach starting team, and no, everybody have a chance and everybody know they're in for a chance. So this is why the training is always like that.
We've also kept the nucleus of the squad together. You see, Daniel Green was the MVP of the Caribbean Cup. You look to Fitzroy Cummings, Kyle Ming, those players would have been tremendous in the drive to win the Caribbean Cup. Do you now look at them to say, you have this regional experience, you are the players who we're looking on to kind of drive this team forward for CFU?
Nah. Well, if at any given time, if they can own it and see for what it is, then it makes no sense. Because again, if you'd have seen, would have acquired some quality player as well. And as I mentioned before, everybody wants to be a part of. And the only way is what you do out there on any given training day, any given training session. So what you do in training, get you on the pitch.
We have so far confirmed the signing of two players, Trevon Reed, second in the goal scoring race last season, and also Ricardo Thomas, a well-known fullback. What do you expect from those two players?
Well, they are here because would have known of them. You know what Ricardo Thomas is someone who he's always going to give 110%. He's always going to play with his heart. Trevon Reed, again, leading goal scorer, scored a lot of goals. Last season was up there with one of our own.
Yeah.
You know, so again, we expect them. It's just a continuation of where they would have left off, you know, and come get themselves. I don't want them to come here and get too complacent.
Yeah.
The atmosphere, you know, as I said before, we just need them to come and push the others.
The CFU Shield, we start preparations earlier this season. Would have had the Popeyes Knockout Cup that we won, then the CFU Shield, then you go into the Jamaica Premier League and the Caribbean Cup. And will you have to have a stronger and deeper squad this season? Because you could likely play the Premier League, CFU Shield, Caribbean Cup, Champions Cup, and a Knockout Cup, which is basically 5 competitions this season.
Yes, definitely. We want to have depth in our squad, and I think that was something that we must commend the technical staff in terms of how we rotate players last season, and this season it would be more challenging. I think it would be more games as well. So depth in the squad is important.
Now, we've also this season, based on discussions internally, looking to have more youth players being involved. For the last 2 seasons, we've had a lot of youth players involved. One season we had 5 youth players who scored in the Jamaica Premier League. Again, we're looking at a couple of players, Siobhan Byron or someone who should come through. We saw DeMarcus Smith towards the end of last season. The youngsters, the academy players, and giving them game time, is that something that you set out to do as a coach?
Very important. It's made no sense having a academy where you can have players coming through to the senior team. Mm-hmm. It also gives others a boost, give others a lift, and say, okay, if DeMarco, if Earl Dennis, if Douglas, if Byron is a part of the senior team, then it motivates others to want to do well, that they also can have a look in. So I think it argues well for the academy.
Final bit, Coach, in terms of where we are as a club and the achievements of last season, the last 2 seasons, Premier League finalists, Caribbean Cup champions, Knockout Cup champions. How does all of that help to motivate you as a coach in terms of your personal aspirations and ambitions? And are you happy with what you have achieved as a coaching group?
No, you never can be too happy, and you don't want to get complacent, in what we have achieved. There's a lot more, would have set our target as a club, as technical staff, wherein we always want to raise the bar. So there's a lot need to be done to get us where we want. So we just need, again, the entire team, the entire staff to be on the one page so we can get the job done.
All right, Coach. Looking forward to the season.
Respect.
Thanks.
All right.